What's up? How's it going, everybody? I have been meaning to do some TEM Tuesday action for a very long time, and I have not followed through on it, but here I am. So I figured I would serenade my my neighbors with some 10 p.m. tuba as this thing. It's always awkward because the thing turns on and you never know when it's starting. But anyway, here we are. What's up? I was sent by Dan Morris today. What's up, Dan? If you're watching this, he sent me a really cool post on Instagram, which I wanted to share because this is really good and something that I think frequently gets mixed up and applies to anybody who is pursuing a portfolio career. I mean, even if you're uh, to the musical side, to the business side, to just life in general. And this is from an Instagram account, which is at the number 6 a.m. practice. And it is a multi-screen. I'm going to read it to you here. If you think you need motivation to do what needs to be done, you're never going to make it. And here's why. That got my interest right away because I've always thought, motivation is what you need to do a task. But they break it down in a pretty cool way here. Most people think they get motivated when they watch a motivational video. That's false. The video is inspirational, not motivational. You're inspired to start putting in the work. Makes sense. And inspiration is very short lived, maybe 24 hours if it was really good. Any longer than that, and it fades. You watched Karate Kid, and before that movie was over, you swore you were going to become a black belt. A few days later, that inspiration is gone. I definitely attempted that like one leg, kick from Ralph Macchio from that movie. And I think I fell over awkwardly a number of times and then I stopped trying it. Anyway, motivation comes from within. It's what makes you do what needs to be done on the days you feel like doing it the least. But how do you achieve that? This is the money part. This is why I wanted to share it. Here's the process. 1, action leads to results. 2, results show progress. 3, progress creates motivation. 4, motivation leads to more action. Motivation is the end product, not the first thing. Stay consistent, become motivated, achieve your goals, live the life you dreamed about. That's really, really great insights. Again, thank you, Dan, for sending that along. The action leads to results. I have definitely shared into this microphone a number of times to TEM coaching clients on the podcast, to students in lessons. I have had a lot of success both in the music business and then in life in general. I've had a lot of success changing my thinking through acting. So through doing actions eventually changes my thinking. I've had very little success changing my actions through just thinking differently or harder or better or whatever. And that's why, notice the process here is not one, thinking leads to results or thinking better leads to results. It's action which leads to results. And then the results gets progress. And then once you get momentum, which is the term I always like to use, then the progress creates motivation. So then that motivation, that momentum creates motivation because when things are going well, I'm motivated to do them. Or not just when they're going well, but when I have momentum, when like things are progressing forward, it is more fun. You can suck at golf, but if you notice that you're getting better, then you want to go back out there. It's not that you don't because you suck at golf. It's like you actually do want to go back out there because you notice that you are better than you were a month and a half ago. So the bottom line here is that motivation is the end product, and we get motivation by taking action, by trying things that we are not good at, by getting out of our comfort zone. Seth Godin calls it tension, and tension is when we don't know whether something is going to go well or not. The very first time I talked into this mic for the podcast or streamed something like this to YouTube or to a Facebook page, I was nervous because I didn't know whether the tech was working. I didn't know what I was doing. It's very weird to just be like talking to this little hole at the top of my monitor, and there's absolutely nothing coming back. But now I know that it's going to go fine, right? There is no tension there. That doesn't mean that people won't listen to this and think it sucks. Of course they will. They'll barely listen to it because if they think it sucks, they're just going to move on because it's the internet and there's literally infinite, not literally, there is figuratively an infinite number of places to be able to send your attention, but there's no tension there, right? When I like to get myself into musical situations where there is tension. When I was right before the whole world shut down, I was one of the featured, along with Joe Dollard. I was one of the featured soloists with Swamp Romp and the U.S. Army Blues at the tuba workshop here in D.C. Those are some of the best jazz players like in the world, and I'm really good at faking jazz for a classical player. But I am not one of the best jazz players in the world. And not only are they better than me, but they hang out in that ecosystem all day, every day. That's what they practice in the practice room. That's what they're shedding. That's what they play. They play with other, and I've been very lucky, but I get to kind of like dip my toe into those waters and then I get out. It's really good for me because I didn't know if it was going to go well or not. And lots of people, lots of tuba players in the world could have done a better job than I did, but it went well. I worked my ass off to get ready for that gig. I would have worked twice as hard if I had known that the whole world was going to like basically shut down for a year and a half right after that. But the point is, I grew so much that night. But again, the key is that it was action, right? It wasn't just thinking a lot harder about jazz and about improv and about fitting in. I had to just go and try and fit in and go and try and hang with musicians like Graham Breedlove, who's the trumpet player in Swamp Romp, who wrote some arrangements. I mean, he's amazing. He's a trumpet player. Don't tell him I said anything nice about him. But the point is that action led to the results. And by the way, the action of me, shedding my ass off for that gig led to results, which led to progress / momentum. And then that led to motivation, because the more fun I am at soloing over some specific changes, which are hard for me, then the more I want to do it. And then that leads to more action and lather, rinse, repeat. So the bottom line is, do not wait for motivation. You need to just act, and then your results that are going to come from intentional action, right? The whole 10,000 hours rule, which might be bullcrap anyways, but even if it is accurate, and that's the right number, or it's accurate and that's close to the number, a lot of people gloss over the fact that it's intentional practice. It's not just like, sticking a clarinet mouthpiece in your mouth and blowing into it and pushing the keys for 10,000 hours. It's intentional. But that action leads to momentum. The momentum leads to progress. The progress leads to motivation. The motivation leads to more action, which leads to more, etc. Right? Then we are in a vicious cycle. So thank you for if you just listened to that whole thing. I appreciate you. Again, shout out to Dan for sending that along, because that's awesome. And I have definitely confused inspiration and motivation before, and I have very much thought that I'm lacking the motivation to do this project, but or to learn this new skill, whether it's business or musical. But it turns out that that's not what needs to happen. I need to act, and then the motivation is going to follow. All right. You can learn more about TEM at tem.fm, and you can learn about TEM coaching there, the podcast, which there's like, coming up on 250 episodes, which are free. And there's a blog there, which you would click on blog. I make it it's real secretive. You got to figure out what on earth should I click on here. You click on blog, and then there's the blog. But I write some stuff there, and yeah, there's a bunch of resources. So check it out. And thank you for enjoying this. And thank you for enjoying this. That was rather presumptive. I was trying to switch tabs so that I could shut the video off. And then I was like, surely everyone listening to this enjoyed it. So I'm going to thank them for that. Thank you for putting up with me. See that? I said there was no tension because I didn't know if this was going to go well. There was still time for me to say something super stupid. And there it was. All right. That's going to do it for this TEM